You know, it's funny. Usually when I get the source file for one of these, it has some terrifyingly academic title.
Right.
Something like, I don't know, Quarterly Analysis of Socioeconomic Trends.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like I need to put on a tie just to open it.
Oh, yeah.
But today, the source you handed me is, and I'm reading this verbatim, new Microsoft Word document.docs.
It's a classic of the genre, isn't it? It just screams, I finished typing this at 3 in the morning and I just couldn't be bothered to hit save as.
It really inspires confidence. But I have to say, when I opened it, I realized this isn't just some, hasty collection of notes.
Yeah.
It's basically a very detailed, almost obsessive scorecard for the recent Grammy Awards. And I don't just mean a list of who won. It's analyzing the vibe of the night.
That's a really good way to put it. It's looking at the tension in the room. Because if you look at the data in that document, and it is data, they have star ratings and everything, this wasn't just another awards show. It was a collision. It felt like a head-on crash between the old way the music industry saw itself and, well, the new reality of how the world actually listens to music.
And according to this expert scorecard they included,
Yeah.
the night did well in some areas. Artistry and diversity got 4 stars, which is solid.
Yep.
But show flow got hammered with a 3-star rating. So, okay, help me unpack this. What is the big headline here that justifies us digging into a generic Word doc for the next 20 minutes?
The headline has to be Album of the Year. And to get why this matters so much, you have to understand the architecture of the Grammys for the last, 50 years?
Okay, set the scene for me.
Historically, the Grammys have always treated non-English music like a side dish,
Yeah.
You've got your main chorus, pop, rock, country, and then way over there you have the international or Latin categories.
Right, and they're usually not even on TV.
Exactly. They hand those out in the afternoon while the janitors are still setting up chairs for the main event. It's the kids' table.
The kids' table of the music industry. I like that.
But this document, it highlights a historic win for Bad Bunny and his album, Debitera Más Fotos. This is the very first time an all-Spanish-language album has won the top prize, Album of the Year.
Okay, so let me play devil's advocate for a second. We hear about historic firsts all the time. Is this just the Academy trying to look cool? Like, is this a token win to get Gen Z to tune in?
That is the cynical take, and it's a fair question. But the source material argues it's actually a shift in the math. It reflects a diversification of mainstream recognition that was, frankly, inevitable.
What do you mean by that?
In the past, if a Latin artist wanted to even be in the conversation for this award, they had to make a crossover album.
Like Ricky Martin in the 90s.
Precisely. You sing half the songs in English, you get a feature from some generic American pop star, and you kind of dilute the sound to make it palatable for a radio station in, I don't know, Ohio. Bad Bunny didn't do any of that.
And the document says his speech was mostly in Spanish, too.
Which is such a power move. He didn't translate himself for the room. He just gets up there and dedicates the award to displaced immigrant communities. The source notes he was blending this incredible artistry with, real social commentary.
Right.
He essentially forced the American music industry to meet him where he is instead of the other way around.
That feels like that new reality you were talking about. But then, if we look at the other big winner of the night, it feels like we're back to the old guard. Kendrick Lamar he cleaned up.
He did, but that's the balance the source identifies. If Bad Bunny is the revolution, then Kendrick is the institution, but in the best possible way.
The stats here are just wild. 9 nominations, 5 wins.
That kind of batting average it's just unheard of for a rapper in the general fields. Usually hip-hop gets nominated a lot, but then gets shut out of the big 4 categories. But the source notes a really specific record here. Kendrick is now the most Grammy-awarded rapper in history. He's passed everyone. Jay-Z, Kanye, everybody.
And what were the specific wins? I'm seeing Luther and GNX listed here in the source.
Yeah, so he took Record of the Year for Luther, which he shared with SCA, and then Best Rap Album for GNX. And that's interesting because it shows his range. Winning Best Rap Album is about the whole body of work, the storytelling, the album's cohesion.
Right.
But winning Record of the Year is totally different. That's about the sonic quality of a single track.
Okay, I'm so glad you brought that up. This is something that always trips me up, and I feel like I should know it by now.
Okay.
The document lists Billie Eilish and Finneas winning Song of the Year, but Kendrick won Record of the Year. To a normal person, isn't the song and the record the same thing?
It is the most common point of confusion. The easiest way to think of it is like a house. Song of the Year is an award for the blueprints.
Okay.
It honors the songwriters, the lyrics, the melody, the chords. You could record that song on a dictaphone in a bathroom, and if the writing is genius, it's a great song.
So song is the pen and paper part.
Right. Record of the Year is the finished house. It's the paint, the furniture, the lighting. It honors the actual recording, the producer, the engineers, the mixer, and of course the artist performing it.
Got it. So when the source says Billie Eilish and Finneas won Song of the Year for Wildflower,
Yeah.
it's specifically about their writing craft.
Precisely. And the document really emphasizes that they've now tied a record for wins in this specific category. We tend to think of Billie as, a celebrity, a style icon, the whisper pop girl.
Sure.
But this award, it underscores that she and Finneas are, at their core, craftspeople. They're entering the league of, the great American songbook writers Carole King, Paul Simon.
And that implies longevity, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Cool production tricks fade, but a great melody is forever.
Exactly. Trends fade, structure lasts. And speaking of trends and the future, we have to talk about Best New Artist Olivia Dean.
I did notice the source pointed out a pattern there.
Yeah, it's a category that's just been dominated by female breakthrough artists lately. It's been quite a while since a male solo act really truly owned that Best New Artist conversation.
It's so interesting how the industry cycles like that. And they did something different with them on the show this year, right?
Uh-huh.
This document mentions a medley.
They did, and it was so smart. Usually Best New Artist is the most awkward part of the night. You have 5 terrified young people sitting in chairs just waiting for an envelope.
Yeah, the forced smiles.
This year, they had a Best New Artist medley showcasing 8 different acts, and the source praised it for showing scope and energy.
Yeah, it makes so much more sense. Show us why they're nominated, don't just read a list.
It's way better TV.
Yeah.
And speaking of TV, remember how I said the show flow only got 3 stars?
Yeah, let's dig into that because the music sounds great, but the source seems to think the pacing was a total mess. It identifies the specific tension, spectacle versus substance.
This is the eternal battle of the Grammys. It's an identity crisis. Are we putting on a laser show for TikTok, or are we honoring musical proficiency in a concert hall?
And looking at the notes here, we had extreme examples of both. Let's start with team substance. The document highlights Justin Bieber's set as a real standout.
It was, and honestly, it was incredibly risky.
Why risky?
Yeah.
The notes just say it was him, a guitar, and a loop pedal. That sounds simple. Almost like a coffee shop open mic.
Simple is what makes it dangerous on live TV. Have you ever actually used a loop pedal?
I can barely use a toaster, so no.
Okay, so here's the deal with it. You play a little chord progression, and you have to hit a button with your foot the perfect moment to record it. Then it starts playing back instantly in a loop.
Right.
Then you sing a harmony over it, record that, and layer it on top. If you miss that button press by even a fraction of a second, the loop has a skip in it, and every single time it comes around, that little skip plays again.
So the mistake just repeats itself forever.
Yes. The rhythm just falls apart. The whole song collapses. And there's no backing track to save you. You are building the entire song live, layer by layer, in front of millions of people.
I see. So it's a high wire act without a net.
It is. And in an era where literally everything is auto-tuned and quantized and perfectly polished, seeing a massive pop star strip it all back to that level of vulnerability, the source called it one of the most authentic moments. It suggests there's a real hunger for that kind of raw musicality.
But then you flip the coin completely, and you've got the other side, team spectacle.
Tyler, the creator.
The source ranks his 2-song set as one of the top showcases. It calls it ambitious and highly visual.
Tyler just understands that people listen with their eyes now.
Yeah.
If Bieber was the unplugged vibe, Tyler was the full-on cinematic experience. And honestly, a 3-hour show needs both.
Right?
If everyone just sat on a stool with a guitar, we'd all be asleep by hour 2.
We also saw Lady Gaga doing what Lady Gaga does. The source calls it creative reinvention, fusing abracadabra with rock.
She treats pop music like a costume she can just alter at will. It fits into that spectacle category, but it's spectacle driven by talent, not just fireworks.
But this is where the critique comes in, right?
Yeah.
The source mentions mismatched or overproduced performances.
That's why that show flow score was so low.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, the viewer at home. You just watched Justin Bieber do this incredibly intimate, quiet, fragile acoustic set. And then 10 seconds later, you're just blasted with pyrotechnics and 50 dancers for the next act.
It gives you whiplash.
Exactly. It felt disjointed. It's like the Academy is trying to serve everyone, the purists and the TikTok generation. And sometimes when you try to do that, the meal just doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so we've covered the winners, the music, the whiplash. But we have to talk about the moment that probably broke the internet. The source calls it simply the viral moment.
Oh, sure.
I mean, how does this even happen? The document says she announced the wrong winner name.
It's the ultimate nightmare scenario. She's up there presenting Record of the Year. The envelope is right there in her hand. And she said the wrong name before the actual reveal.
I can only imagine the pure panic in the control room. Do you cut the mic? Do you play the music? What do you do?
The source says it became the defining behind-the-scenes story. But, it just reminds us that this is live television. Even a legend like Cher can get flustered.
Yeah.
It humanizes the whole machine a bit. We expect these people to be perfect robots, but they get nervous too.
It certainly gave the host something to work with. Trevor Noah was steering the ship again.
His final hosting stint, actually.
Oh, right. So how did he handle the chaos? The source notes that he leaned into sharp social commentary, which apparently polarized some viewers.
Comedy is a minefield these days. When you're the host, you have two choices. You can be the safe, kind of cheesy game show host who just says, wow, great song.
Right.
Or you can actually address what's happening in the room.
And Noah addresses the room.
He does. The source mentions he blended humor with some pretty pointed remarks about the state of the world. When you do that, you're always going to alienate the viewers who just want pure escapism.
They just want to see the sparkly dresses.
Exactly. They want to forget about their problems. But the source argues that this cultural impact is part of the package now. The Grammys don't exist in a vacuum.
That's a major theme in this document. We saw it with Bad Bunny's speech, and the notes mentioned that multiple artists, including Olivia Dean, spoke about immigration policies.
It's a reflection of the climate. The source is very clear on this. Artists feel a responsibility to use that microphone for more than just thank yous.
But doesn't that risk turning the audience off?
It does. But look at it from the artist's point of view. If they just said thank you to my manager and walked off, while the news cycle is on fire outside, the awards would feel totally disconnected from reality.
You would feel like the Capitol in the Hunger Games.
It would. By engaging with the news cycle, even if it makes some people uncomfortable, they actually keep the Grammys relevant.
That is a really good point. It prevents it from just being a bubble of celebrities patting each other on the back.
Precisely.
So looking at the big picture here, we have a new Microsoft Word document that gives the night 4 stars for diversity and artistry, but only 3 stars for execution. What's the final verdict?
The source concludes that it was a compelling, historically meaningful year. And the key phrase they use, which I love, is genre fluidity.
Meaning the walls between genres are gone.
Exactly. Pop, rap, Latin, urban. These used to be totally separate lanes on the highway. Now it's just one big open road. They're all sharing the biggest awards. The very definition of what American music is has expanded.
That feels like a really hopeful place to be. It seems like the industry is finally catching up to how people actually listen to music now. You know, the playlist generation. I listen to bachata and then hip-hop and then folk. It makes sense. The awards should look like that, too.
It really does.
But before we go, there's one thought from the source I want to leave everyone with, because it really stuck with me. It's about that tension we talked about.
The future of performance.
Yeah. The source suggests that despite all the technology, the future might belong to artists who can balance that high production with intimate musicality. And it makes me wonder, in a world of holograms and AI and deepfakes, is the most radical punk rock thing you can do just standing alone on a stage with a guitar and a loop pedal?
Based on the reception Bieber got, I think the answer might be yes. When the whole world gets noisy, sometimes the whisper is what makes you lean in.
Something to think about next time you see a stadium tour announcement. That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.
See you next time.